Welcome, everybody. We're here with our Smile Power Heroes of the Week, the team over at Colorado Family Dentistry. I'm joined by Dr. Julia Kasper and her executive director of the practice, Cri Boratenski. Thanks, guys, for joining us today.
You bet. Thanks for having us.
Dr. Kasper, I understand you've got to go see a patient, so thanks for joining us. We'll spend a little time talking to Cri about your practice. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Thank you. Cri, tell us a little bit about the practice. I know things have been pretty crazy this last few weeks. I'm hearing some great things about what you guys are doing over there. You're located over in West Denver in the Lakewood area. Tell us a little bit what's been going on the last 8 weeks and how it's been different.
Well, it's been quite different. We were shut down completely pretty much for 6 weeks. We really felt that it was in the best interest of our patients to minimize the type of treatment that we were doing. So we really just focused on emergencies during that time. And now we're starting to open up a little bit more now and get some of the urgent treatment that we've had really backlogged for a while through. But
yeah, I can imagine it's and I imagine that the experience for the patient when they come into your office now is so different than it was 2 or 3 months ago. What are some of those best practices that you guys have implemented in the practice to help protect patients and your team members?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very different experience for patients, and so we've tried to really set expectations ahead of time as to what they can expect. And the patients are actually going to call us when they get to the parking lot. We're going to check them in at that time, and then we're going to go and we're going to check with the clinical team, make sure that the clinical team is ready for them, and then we'll bring them up. And as soon as they walk into the office, we're going to bring them back to their seat and have them seated in the operatories straight away.
Okay.
Are
they wearing a mask at this time, or?
They are going to be wearing a mask when they come in, and if they come in without a mask, we're going to provide them with one as soon as they come into the office.
Right.
So we have HEPA filters. We have 10 of those now in the office. So every single room is going to have a HEPA filter system in it that has UV sanitation on it. And we are actually upgrading our entire vacuum system because we're going to be using a lot more high volume suction with the new regulations and just making sure that we're keeping aerosol as minimized as possible.
Yeah. I saw the PPE that Dr. Kasper was wearing. What a significant change, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty significant change for sure. We were using kind of a similar setup with amalgam removal before, and now that's really transcended into all the procedures that we do. So we have the gowns on the outside, which are disposable and get disposed of after aerosol producing procedures. We have the face mask, which is now in place. That's been a huge challenge to work around with the light and the loops. But we're actually manufacturing some of our own now and trying some things with that. We also have the caps on top and the N95 masks. Anytime we're producing aerosol, we're going to be using the N95s. Most of the time, if we're not producing aerosol, we'll be using a level 3 generally.
Okay. And obviously, due to the fact that N95s are really difficult to get still, what about your team in terms of hours and has that changed at all?
That has changed significantly. Yeah. So we used to be an 8 to 5 practice, and we did that just to make a really easy schedule for people to work around their personal lives. Now we're 7 to 7 every single day, and we do that in 2 separate shifts. So we'll work one from 7 to 1 and then one from 1 to 7. And so that allows us to have 2 different teams working. And there are a lot of benefits to that in terms of offering more time to the patients to schedule to get through some of the backlog of patients that we've had. There are also benefits in terms of limiting the number of people that we have working in the practice at one time. And we can split that off into 2 different teams. So if one team were to get sick, we would have another team hopefully to continue treatment.
Yeah. Final thoughts as we wrap this up.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we can really do as practitioners is set expectations really well in advance with the patients. We got to recognize that the world they're coming into when they come into our practice now is very different than the world that they've become familiar with over the last months or years that they've been patients in our practice. And so the more that we can set those expectations in advance, either through email or text communication or by calling them on the phone and just letting them know what it is that they're going to be seeing when they come in and what's going to be changed, I think that that really makes it a lot easier for our patients to digest.
Yeah, their lives have been impacted as well in a big way.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that we've seen so much grace from our patients, and I think it's really easy for us to think that we're dealing with stuff that nobody else is dealing with. The dental industry has been really, really heavily affected by this, but our patients are going through very many of the same things that we're dealing with as well, and recognizing the hardship that they're going through, and offering them the same grace that they're extending us, I think is something that we can really really create a great relationship with.
Yeah, I couldn't say that better. Cri, thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for implementing those best practices that really do everything you can to keep your team safe and all the patients that you guys serve safe. Thanks for being on the front lines, and a special thank you to Dr. Kasper for everything she's doing to help patients during this tough time. It's Cri Boratenski. He's the executive director over at Colorado Family Dentistry. They're our Smile Power Heroes of the Week. Thanks very much, Cri.
Thank you, Dr. Guyton.
Bye-bye.